The common challenges you see business owners facing today, and were those challenges different, let's say, 4 years ago?
The challenges broadly fall into three categories. The causes of the challenges might change, but the challenges are generally quite consistent. For the 20 years I've been doing this, during COVID, after COVID, and now, time, team, money. Generally speaking, a business exists to make our life better. That's why we do it. If it doesn't make our life better, we might as well get a job because it's harder than having a job. But what a lot of business owners find is instead of doing one job, they end up doing two jobs because they work on the day job doing the thing they do, and then they run their business in the mornings and the evenings. It was like that before COVID. It was like that during COVID, and it's been like that since. And probably the fluctuations and the effects of the time might maybe reflect the marketplace, because I think at the beginning of COVID, we all thought we weren't going to have any work, and then the government pumped a load of money into the economy, and suddenly we all had loads of work, and with loads of work comes a greater demand on your time. But that hasn't changed. I've just told you an example of someone I saw last week that's got exactly the same sort of challenge. So time, team, good people want to work for good companies, and they don't want to work for average companies. So if you want good people, you've got to do the things that good companies do. A lot of smaller businesses think that the stuff you ought to do to attract good people is for bigger companies, so they don't do it. And why would a good person work for a company that doesn't look after them, or an average business? If you want good people, you've got to be a good business. So there's a lot of stuff around that, and bad recruitment, and we recruit people in our own image, which I'm here to tell you now, if everybody in my business was like me, it would be a disaster. There's no doubt about it. The impact of a bad recruitment is just so bad. And yeah, I don't think that challenge has changed, nor do I think it will ever change. People is generally the hardest bit. And then, of course, money is the last challenge. And that can come from a variety of sources. If you've got too much work, people start to moan about cash flow, or it's easy to have lots of work and not make a profit, because the busier you are, the less efficient you become. And therefore, you end up throwing money at problems rather than taking the time to think about them efficiently. If your debt collection systems aren't right, getting busier will mean you're owed even more money, even though on paper you're making a profit. And often, if you combine the three, so if you're working 80 hours a week and you're paying yourself the same wage as you were going to get when you were employed, and you work out your hourly rate, you're probably better off stacking shelves. And there are more business owners out there today doing that than aren't. That I promise you.
I belong to one of those. What is the general dream? Why they still do it? Do you think they stuck in the routine and they just don't know how to get out of it?
Business owners, first and foremost, have some sort of entrepreneurial
Spirit.
spark, or they wouldn't do it. But broadly speaking, if you read the E-Myth, Gerber talks about the technician and the entrepreneur, and a lot of us start a business because we're good at the thing we do, rather than because we're good at running businesses. But once you get on the treadmill, once you get in the habit of getting up in the morning, getting on that treadmill and running like crazy for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 hours a day, that becomes habit. And it's amazing what you can convince yourself is normal. You do a little bit of networking, I do a little bit of networking, and it's almost like a badge of honour sat around the coffee pot. People saying, oh yeah, I worked 14 hours yesterday. Look at me. That's not clever. There's a husband or a wife at home or children at home that are missing you. They're not getting your time, and they'll never get it back. Plus, sooner or later, your partner, your body, or your doctor will tell you you're not allowed to do that anymore. But we just get into the habit, don't we? But the thing about running a business is our businesses and our lives are intrinsically linked. Certainly at the level that I work, there's very little separation between the two, because what happens in that business has a direct impact on your life, and what happens in your life has a direct impact on your business. It becomes a part of you. It's who you are. It's your identity. If you took away advice for business from me now, that's like taking away half my being, taking away my soul. 20 years work. The fear of failure and the fear of giving up probably holds people stickier place a lot longer than they should be.